You know the feeling. You're in the zone, completely locked in on what you're doing. And then, you hear it. Just one voice from the crowd, and suddenly, you're pulled right out of the moment.
The crowd gets loud, and the question is, where does your focus go? All of a sudden, it isn't on the game anymore. It's on the noise, the judgment, the distraction, and this is such a critical moment for any athlete.
So we're going to start by digging into what's actually happening inside your head when that external noise hijacks your attention. And then, more importantly, we're going to walk through the exact trainable skills that elite performers use to take back control, no matter how loud it gets.
Okay, so let's dive in. Before we can solve this problem, we really have to understand why our focus breaks in the first place. It's a powerful and natural response, and it usually comes down to three key things.
First up, your attention. It's a limited resource. The best way to think about it is like a spotlight. It can only point at one thing at a time, so the second that spotlight swings over to the crowd, it's not on your execution anymore. It just can't be in two places at once.
The second reason is that a crowd, by its very nature, represents judgment, and this kicks off a really powerful stress response. We call it social evaluation threat. Your brain starts to sense the risk of being judged, of embarrassment, and that threat naturally grabs your attention.
And finally, number 3. This is just pure biology. Your brain is literally hardwired to snap its attention to any sudden noise or movement. It's a survival instinct. So that shout from the stands, it isn't just noise to your brain. It's a potential threat signal, and your brain is designed to prioritize it instantly.
So here's the really crucial takeaway from all this. The crowd isn't the real problem. The problem is the drift, where your attention goes in response to the crowd. And because that's an internal process, it means it's something you can actually learn to control.
Now, this brings us to a really common piece of advice that, frankly, almost always backfires. You know the one. Someone tells you to just block it all out. But what happens when you try to force yourself not to think about something? It often just gets louder in your head.
So let's look at the difference here. The flawed strategy is trying to fight the noise, to suppress it. That just creates resistance and wastes energy. The elite strategy is completely different. It accepts that the noise exists and instead focuses on directing attention to what really matters. This frees up all that mental energy so you can use it for your performance.
You see this with the best athletes in the world. They don't try to pretend the crowd isn't there. Instead, they learn to use that noise as just background energy. It's there, but their attention is locked onto their routine, their target, the things they can control. The noise is just part of the setting, not the main event. And this really gets to the heart of it all. You can't control the environment. Your real power lies in controlling your focus within that environment. That's the game changer. Okay, so the big question is, how do you actually do that? How do you direct your focus on command? Well, you use what we call anchors. Think of them as stable points you can grab onto to pull your attention back whenever it starts to wander. There are generally 3 types that work best. The first is an external task focus, something you can see or feel, like the seams on the ball or your opponent's stance. The second is a consistent routine, a pre-action sequence that becomes automatic. And the third is using simple cue words, just short, powerful instructions to yourself like balance or target.
Let's make this real with a quick case study. A tennis player was really getting thrown off by crowd noise during her serve, so her coach gave her a simple 3-part anchor system. The very first one was just focusing on her bounce count.
The second anchor was purely physical. Just the sensation of her hand on the racket, the grip feel. It's simple, and it's something 100% within her control. And the third anchor was her very first movement into the serve. That's it. Bounce, grip, movement. By narrowing her world down to just those 3 small things, the huge, overwhelming crowd just faded into the background. It was still there, of course, but her attention now had a more important job to do. Now, it's really important to understand that this skill of anchoring isn't something you're just born with. Just like you train your body, you have to systematically train your mind to do this. It's about building a resilient mind.
And here's a huge insight for how you should approach this training. The goal is not perfection. You will get distracted. The real elite skill is not if you lose focus, but how fast you get it back. Your refocus speed is what separates good from great under pressure.
So here's a simple drill you can start practicing today called the reset drill. The moment you feel your attention get pulled away, you run through 3 steps. 1. Take 1 deep, deliberate breath. 2. Use your cue word.
And 3, immediately lock onto your next action. It's that simple. Breathe, cue, next action.
All right, let's put all this together into a practical playbook you can take right into your next competition. This is about how to apply this method both in your preparation and when you're in the heat of the moment.
Before you even compete, the mental work begins. First, expect to be distracted. Go in knowing it's going to happen so it doesn't surprise you. Next, choose the 1 or 2 focus anchors you'll use. Then, rehearse your routine. And finally, practice your reset drill until it becomes automatic.
Then, during the competition, your job is simple. Allow the noise to exist around you. Don't fight it. The second you feel your focus drift, redirect it immediately to your anchors. Lean on your routines and cue words to stay grounded. And when you get distracted, just reset. Fast. No frustration, no judgment.
The final takeaway is this: you don't win a battle against the crowd. That's not the game. You win by mastering yourself, by staying completely inside your role, one single action at a time.
So, I'll leave you with a question. What kind of crowd distracts you the most? Is it the negative comments, a sudden roar, or something else? Knowing your specific triggers is the first step to mastering them. Feel free to share your experience in the comments below.